Hi and welcome to the first video in this Sonic Academy How to Make Trance course. My name is Mark and I'll be taking you through how to make the track that you heard in the previous video in Cubase. A few things I just want to make plain straight away. Where we can use Cubase's native instruments, so the plugins and the instruments that come with Cubase 5, we will, unless I think for some reason that a third-party plugin or VST instrument is more appropriate. Now the first video is about drums, and I'm going to show you how to do the drums using Native Instruments Battery, which is very popular, and Groove Agent 1 that comes with Cubase 5. I think it also comes with Cubase 4. I'll let you hear the drum loop first of all. Okay, that's the drum loop we're going to create. What we'll do is we'll create it in Native Instruments Battery first, then we'll use Groove Agent 1. Okay, so I'm a stickler for being very tidy when I create my music. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a folder track, and I'm going to call that Battery Drums. I'm going to create another folder track, and I'm going to call that Groove Agent Drums. Okay, and I'm just going to turn this green because that's the colour of battery, and we'll put that grey because that's the colour of Groove Agent. Okay, now in the files that you should have downloaded along with this course, you should have a battery drum kit, which has the samples in it that we're about to use. Now, the first thing we need to do is hit F11 on our keyboard to bring up the VST instruments. Just ignore those two are the ones that I just showed you the demo with, and we're going to open up a battery. So now we have our blank battery. What we need to do is go File, Open. Loading kit will overwrite your current yet, for sure, because there's nothing there, and go to wherever you downloaded that battery kit. It's called Trance. Just hit Open. Yeah. You see the samples have loaded up. Now, as you can see, we've got 8 samples. We can only hear the first one, and we've only got one channel for battery in the mixer. In Cubase 4 and above, what you need to do is come over to your VST instrument rack, select this, and select how many outputs you want. So now we've got 8 samples, so we want 8 outputs. Okay, so now that we've got those 8 outputs, what we can now do is assign each one of these cells to its own output. So this one, as you can see here, is on the master. This one here is on 3 and 4. Now to do that, you would come down here and change it in here. Now your settings here may look different because you're not using the same sound card as me and you don't have battery set up the same way, but it's the same principle. Just go in and select the cell, go in and select the next output. So 5 and 6, the next one will be 7 and 8. And what it does is it allows you to have a separate channel for each drum. So, first thing we need to do is start to create or start to think about how we want to program our drums in. Now, you can have a separate MIDI track for each drum, or you can do it all in one MIDI track. I'm just going to do it all in one MIDI track. So we just call that drums. And left and right locator to one bar, and just double click in there, and that gives us our MIDI. Now, something else you'll notice is if you go into the Cell tab, which you should have been on already if you were setting up your channels, you'll see a key range here. That key range dictates what note on your keyboard triggers the cell. So, for instance, if I press C1 on my MIDI keyboard, I hear the kick, C sharp, my hi-hat, D, and so on. So, we can then double click on the MIDI part, and we come to C1, so we can then start programming in our drums. But in this instance, because not a lot of people use it, I'm going to show you how to program your drums using the drum editor instead of the key editor. And what we do is, we just come up here to MIDI, select drum editor. And this is what's known as a drum map. As you can see, there's loads of drums all mentioned there, and they all have They're all assigned to whatever note that you wish to assign them to. Now, in this, again, in the files you should have downloaded, there should be a drum map called Trance Basic Map, I believe. To install that, what you need to do is click on Map, go to Drum Map Setup, go to Functions, and select Load. Then whenever you've saved that drum map, you can go off and load it. Then it will come up here like this. And then you simply just come in here, select Trance Basic Map, and there you'll see that what's happened is we have bass drum for our kick, open hi-hat, closed hi-hat, open hi-hat 2, pet ride, clap and clap verve. Pretty much exactly the same as that, all on the same notes. Okay, before I go any further, again, because I am a stickler for tidiness and I like to know what's what, I'm just going to change all the names on these to match these. So I'm just going to call that bass drum. Then I'm going to call this open hi-hat 1, and closed hi-hat, and so on. Okay, so once you've done that, basically it just makes it easier to see stuff. So we know that those are directly related to each other. Okay, so now to start programming the drums, we're just going to do a basic drum loop, nothing fancy. So if I double click it, come into the drum editor. Now you notice I've got a little drumstick there now. So all I do is use the drumstick to click on where I want the drums to go. Probably throw in an open hi-hat there. Closed hi-hat, we'll probably put that on all 16s. Open hi-hat 2, let's pop that there as well. Percussion, we can mess around with that in a second, see where we want it to go. We'll just leave the ride for the time being. And our claps, they're going to go there. So let me play it for you. It's going to sound horrendous, but it's a start. Okay, so we've got our basic drum loop there in battery. That was easy. Now, there is a few things that you could do here. For instance, I told you earlier on that you could have a separate MIDI track for each separate drum. Now, if you keep the drum loop selected, you can again come up to MIDI and you can select Dissolve Part. This then gives you these choices. So separate pitches, yeah, that's what we want because we want each drum to be on its own pitch, remember, C, D, E, etc. If I hit OK, now what you can see that's been done is battery, or Cubase, sorry, has split each one of these, so each pitch, to its own track. So you see the drums on C1 only, then that is on D1, so on and so forth. D, E, C sharp. So now if I play it, again, it's been assigned to the correct outputs because of the pitches, but now you've got it all in their own track. But again, it's up to you. I just wanted to show you that for the purposes of this video tutorial, we're going to use just this one track with battery, that is. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the same thing using Groove Agent 1, which comes with Cubase. So the first thing, as with any VST instrument, again is F11 and add our Groove Agent 1. And I'll just switch this off. Okay, yeah, we want to create. So there we have our Groove Agent 1. Just turn that off. So this is the the new drum machine that comes with Cubase 4 and above. And it's the same principle again. However, I have again created a preset for you. Now, I will show at the bottom of the video where you need to put the Groove Agent 1 preset, so that if you click here and you go load preset, you can actually find it. See, if you see at the bottom here, how to make trance drums. So if you look at the bottom of this video, it will show you where you need to put the preset that you downloaded, because it needs to be in a specific place for us to find it. So if you just select that, and what it should automatically do for you is again map out your drum. So kick on C1 and so on and so forth. But again, and you'll also see if we look here, the outputs have already been changed for you. So ST1, ST2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Basically what that is exactly the same as what we've done in battery. We're changing the outputs so that they can have their own individual outputs. But again, you need to go back to here and activate the 8 outputs, and as you can see, they're popping up down here on the mixer. Okay, so again we've got our 8 outputs. We'll just right click, add a MIDI track. We'll call that Groove Drums, and we'll just drop that into the folder. As you can see, that's the way the folders work. Keeps things nice and tidy. Double click there to get our 1 bar again. And as we come in to the key editor, okay, it's not working, simply because we haven't changed it here to Groove Agent 1. Just drop it onto channel 1. So this time I'll create the loop using the key editor. So okay, so that's our kick. Let me just mute battery. And again, you can go through here and rename them all to kick, hi-hat, etc. The next one we have is hi-hat 1, then we have open hi-hats. I guess this one, oh. Just duplicate that, that's Control D to duplicate. Percussion, again, that can be fine-tuned at some point. Okay, it's just, we'll leave the ride for a minute and then the 2 claps. So again, we've done exactly the same in Groove Agent 1 as we did in battery. The reason I've showed you both of these is, well, some of you may not have battery, but and Groove Agent 1's perfectly capable of giving you what we've just done. However, as you can see, it is a bit limited. You can, it does have some adjustments that you can make. It's got a little filter there as well. It's got an amplifier envelope where you can decrease and mess around with the attacks and stuff. But for the purposes of the rest of this course, the drums are going to be done in battery. Now you can get a demo from Native Instruments, but if you're going to be serious about your drums, I would seriously advise you to get either battery or Contact. Just mess around, see what you think. As I say, for the rest of this course, I'm going to be using Native Instruments battery. Okay, so we've got our drum loop here. First thing I'm going to do is just do a quick volume mix. It's very rough. I'm going to hold Control down, just select each of the channels. This is just because I'm quite lazy. Right click, link all channels, bring them down, right click, unlink. so I don't have to bring them down one at a time. And I'm going to start, as always, with my bass drum. So just press play, bring the bass up, or the bass drum up, should I say. Have I turned that off? Get a nice level with it. Okay, so there we have a rough mix. As I say, it was a very rough mix. Okay, so that's a very rough mix on the drums. So now what we've got is our basic drum loop with a very rough volume mix. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to tame open the reverb clap and start EQing these drums to make them sit better with each other. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.